Has fat acceptance gone too far? Lock in here, chat.
Do you think fat shaming works?
I think so.
Yes, because they start thinking that it is okay.
I'm a fat bitch.
I'm just gonna keep eating. You can't tell me what to do.
Would you want to be fat?
Would I want to have more meat on my bones? Yeah, I'm flat everywhere.
Am I too much? Go find less.
So today I am asking, is it okay to be fat?
Yes, it's okay, it's common, it's regular, normal.
Yes, I mean, look at me. I'm a fat
I don't think it's really
I wouldn't say she's fat.
okay to be fat because it's a lack of self-love.
I just love myself, and people love me because I love myself.
I'd rather have people love themselves, go to the gym, take care of themselves.
A few kilos more or less will not change me.
It has a lot of problems being fat because it is not healthy or good looking.
I think it's okay to be fat.
I think there's a difference between fat acceptance when you just have extra fat. Like, if you are slightly overweight, that's not bad. It's when people say it's okay to be morbidly obese. Now, you should still not hate yourself if you are in a scenario where you are at that area. I think fat phobia is when people are, like, dickheads to people that may be overweight just because they're overweight. And I understand that movement on social media, but I think there has been some idea lost where people try to make it okay, like health-wise, and that they shouldn't receive help if somebody is morbidly obese. If you're morbidly obese, you should get medical help, you should lose weight. Nobody should be grilling you for being overweight, but sitting there and saying, okay, this is okay that I weigh this much, health-wise, it's not.
But I wouldn't date a fit person, I think.
Is it okay to be fat?
Of course.
You hesitated a little.
Well, because I don't think asking, is it okay to be fat, is a correct question to
It's
ask.
fine to be fat. You can be fat. It's your fucking life. It's your body, right? But, like, at the end of the day, am I going to sit there and see somebody that is morbidly obese and be like, that you're definitely healthy? Like, no. I'm not going to sit there and judge them. It's their fucking life, right? They can do whatever the hell they want. But I'm not going to sit there and say that, yeah, they're in a healthy physical state, because they're not.
If they're comfortable in their body, then they're comfortable in their body. Anything that's going to hamper your arteries or anything like that, I don't know. It's not good.
I think it's not okay. It's not healthy at all.
According to my doctor, I'm fat. But if you look at the size of my legs,
You got mailman calves.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, he might be, like, slightly overweight, but I would not call him fat, and he is not unhealthily large. Like, he is probably a healthy man. Like, that's not bad. And, like, that would be fat phobic if somebody made fun of him, because, like, I think he looks fine. If somebody's, like, his height and 400 pounds heavier, like, that's to the point where, like, okay, you can't walk because you weigh too much, to the point where now you're going to have health problems, you're going to have heart problems, you're going to have fucking eating problems, you're not going to be able to walk, you're going to have leg issues, you're going to have blood issues. Like, there's so much.
fat is such a generic statement. It's hard to say yes or no.
I grew up in West Virginia, which happens to be the fattest state.
Were you ever fat?
The biggest I've ever been, I got up to 243. I woke up in the mirror, looked at myself at 243, bubbly, my hips hurt, my knees hurt, my ankles hurt. That moment there, I was like, this is not good. I don't like it. It's not for me. But if it's for you, I think you should get after it.
Whether it be through fat
It's
manic.
overweight versus obese, yeah. Dude, if you weigh more than the average, that's fine. Dude, it's just as long as your body is healthy and your arteries and your organs are fine, then you're good. With BMI, I'm obese. Yeah, BMI is a bad way of determining obesity or not. Bodybuilders are obese based on BMI. Body mass index is a shitty way of determining if you're overweight. Determining if you have too much fat is just body fat percentage.
Women of all shapes and sizes do exist, and it's important that you see yourself represented.
Big girl summer has officially begun.
But with America's high obesity rates, we must question the importance of acceptance versus its consequences. But is it just easy for me to say because I've played sports my whole life? And more importantly, isn't acceptance the first step to self-improvement? Guess we gon' see. Can you be healthy and obese?
That's
Healthy and fat, healthy and overweight, healthy and obese, no. Healthy and obese, obesity, by definition, would mean that you're unhealthy. A state of condition of being overly fat or overweight.
tough, you know?
You know, you can be healthy and still be bigger.
These big wrestlers in Japan, I forgot their name.
Oh, sumo wrestler.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like they're strong.
Like, I play volleyball, I play soccer, I was a competitive cheerleader. So I think it all just it all encompasses in what you're able to do.
I'm not a doctor. I probably wouldn't want to answer that at all.
Let me ask you this then. Like, what does it mean to be healthy?
Well, mental health is very important, and also physical health, of course.
I don't think anyone's purely healthy. You're able to have healthy tendencies. I have a brother who was a track athlete, athlete who was an alcoholic. So I think it just depends on the tendencies you choose to focus on.
So I wanted to know, isn't health more than just the weight on the scale? Health isn't just about physical appearance, right? There's also things like mental, spiritual health. Do you think you can just say that just because you're fat, you're not healthy?
If you're fat, emotional, you won't be good, because you feel bad, your clothes doesn't fit, it is horrible.
Were you ever fat, like, in any time of your life?
Like 6 months ago, I was fat.
What does that mean?
I got cancer and I was on medicine, hormone therapy. Even cancer is a problem because of weight,
Now let's dig further and see what the other side would say. America has a really big push for body positivity and fat acceptance. It's okay to be fat. It's healthy to be fat.
I don't support that.
Why?
I think it's okay to accept your body, but if it's like health concerning, going on the internet and saying I'm so happy with myself, I'm sorry, I don't believe you.
I don't think that you should shame people.
I think it's a version of like just ignoring the health aspects of it, because you do see people on either either TLC or fucking TV shows, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, whatever, that will like brag about how they love themselves and all that, and that's good. You should love yourself. But then sitting there and saying that it's okay that I am obese, well, it's not. Like it will, even if you are okay now, if you are 250 pounds overweight, then that will catch up to your body later on.
Don't think that you should just say, hey, that's okay. It starts out as accept me and then help me, but then it moves into, no, just accept me. I'm just going to keep eating. You can't tell me what to do.
They think that, oh, yes, it is okay to be.
That's the difference, right? Where that differentiation is lost on social media a lot.
I don't think it is a good idea to make that movement.
I agree with that movement and I like it and I think it's okay because not everybody looks the same way. Sometimes you're not fat and some people call you fat. Yeah, it's not okay. I was a ballet dancer and I quit because of that, so imagine.
It's great for people to feel good, but I would rather like promote more.
And it's also like people got to realize like some people's resting body weight is different than others. Like, I'm naturally lighter weight. I have to make myself eat more. I have friends that are naturally heavier, and that's normal, right? But there's a difference between being naturally heavier and being slightly overweight to being obese. That's to the point where you're not doing the things you need to do, eating the right way, or exercising or something, to the point where, like, now it's actually getting to the point of being bad.
I think there is a trend now of glamorizing morbid obesity.
Soak it in.
I can do things while being fat, and if I were to die tomorrow, I wouldn't regret it. I am fat, and there's no shame in it for me.
Now look, influencers have always existed, from Jesus to traditional celebrities, and now micro-influencers. And so with social media, we can now connect with people in any niche that speak to us in our viewpoints, including fat influencers.
You are beautiful just the way you are.
No one owes you their body.
And on the surface, it's a message that most of us can get behind, of self-love and acceptance. But on the other hand, is this a message that's contributing to the obesity epidemic? Have body positivity symbols trap themselves and their
self-love is a very positive message, because people do see all these TikTok influencers, Instagram models, and all this shit that have like equivalently like a naturally or a stereotypical perfect body. Guys that are massively muscular with 8 packs, women that are very thin and slim, have an hourglass figure. Like, that's not necessarily what you need to look like, right? Self-love is something that's based, but self-love plus recognizing, okay, here's where I could still improve myself, is a difference, right? Like, you should always love yourself, but you could still see ways where you're like, okay, this is where I could get healthier, this is what I could change.
For years, Adele has been known as one of the most successful musicians of her generation. And it so happened that not only was she known for her talents, but also viewed as an icon of body positivity.
I don't want to be some skinny mini with my tits out. I'm just writing love songs.
But on May 2020, after posting an IG pic of her significantly losing weight, some of her fans
That's
started—
her? That don't even look like the same face. That literally just looks like a different person. That's Adele. Bro, I would have never been like, that's Adele. Dude, her face looks like the same weight, too. She just looks different. Her face looks like it got longer.
Some of her fans started accusing her of betraying the body positivity movement.
Why Adele is problematic? What did she do? She just lost weight.
Quick pause in the video to shout out my gaming channel, Joe Bart Games. Do you like watching my react content / just chatting content / rant content / maybe tier list content, which you obviously do because you're halfway through the video right now? Well, go sub to Joe Bart Games. Link in description, link in comment section, or just go to Joe Bart Games. Follow that bitch, because I just made that channel about a month ago, starting to upload on it way more. Check it out. I appreciate you guys.
Back to the video.
So many women were mad when Adele lost all that weight.
I was body positive then and I'm body positive now. But it's not my job to validate how people feel about their bodies.
It's not just Adele. From Jonah Hill to countless others, losing weight was like a stab in the back.
It is a big deal. People are obsessed with it.
And so the same people that are advocating for body acceptance of all shapes and sizes are the same ones calling betrayal for losing weight. Has the movement become too extreme?
I actually feel kind of guilty for being a part of this movement. Being a pioneer in this game, like I literally was one of the first influencers to work with Fashion Nova before they even had a plus size line. But let's be for real, health is real. Diabetes, heart disease, all that is real, okay? It's not fat phobic to care about your health. And if somebody's telling you that, it's because they're miserable and they want you to die and stay fat like them.
Girl might say like, I will never date someone that's shorter. Or let's say if a man says, I'll never date someone over this weight.
My husband's tall and some people have shorter boyfriends. Kind of all depends on what you want in life.
Would it be rude if like men started saying like, I won't date girls over a certain weight?
I think physical attraction is important.
Is that rude? I've seen that argument on TikTok all the time, where it'll be like, oh, boys under 5'9", and then all the comments are guys saying, oh, women over 200 pounds. And it's like shit like that. I also just think it's an argument that's kind of, it doesn't make sense, right? Because it's something that's like somewhat controllable versus something that's entirely genetic. Weight is something that's in part genetic, but also in part controllable. You can't control your height in any way, shape, or form. I think you can say it in a rude way, but if in your mind you're like, I'm not attracted to people over a certain weight, like I don't perceive that as rude.
But when it comes to sexuality, why am I a hoe if I like to and you guys are the kings and I'm the hoe?
No, she got a point there. I just didn't expect her to say that shit. No, you got a point. You got a point. You're right. You're right, but I was just, we're watching a video about fat acceptance. She's like, well, if I want to fuck people.
Do you think there's different body standards between men and women?
100%. Right now we have a big trend for the dad bods. So my wife says, no, it's great. But then if you look at a woman who might have the mom bod, just given birth, people shame them for the way they look.
That's actually an interesting point. I've actually heard more of like the reverse, in the sense that there's a lot of like, let's say plus size models that are women, but not really like plus size models that are for men.
I would counter that with how many male models do you see versus how many female models do you see?
So I wanted to ask an actual plus size model, why? Why do you see a lot of like plus size modeling for girls, but not like plus size modeling for men?
I think, to be honest, some people fetishize fat girls.
You don't think there's any fetish for like fat dudes?
Just met a fat dude yesterday and he was cuter than his friend. But you know, I'm very demanding in the bedroom and I think they need that stamina. Because I don't have a lot of condition, so the guy has to do the work.
Yo, she is just honest. Yo, somebody said LMAO, I love her. Now, she is pretty funny. If you want me to be real, men are more likely to just go to a store and buy something if they like it. Whereas if you're a woman and you see, like, my girlfriend will see, like, adverts for certain things of, like, certain clothing that she might wear. And she might be more appealed to buying that type of clothing or going and getting that type of clothing. It's a marketing tactic of, hey, if you see a model that looks like your body type promoting a clothing item to you, and they look like you're more likely to buy it. From personal experience, I don't ever look at clothing ads. I will go into a store, I will look at a pair of clothing as it is, without a person on it, just fucking hold that bitch up. I'll hold that bitch up. I'll say, yep, I'm gonna wear that shit, and I'm gonna go fucking buy it or not. But like, some men don't do that, right? But I would say, as a whole, I think the idea of having certain sized models is for appealing to certain audiences of individuals that are apparent to buying those clothing items.
And so when your actions can directly impact the people closest to you, it may be a different way to explore whether it's okay to be fat. Well, let me ask you this. What would you do if your kids are fat?
I think it's like a problem. It's like a disease.
If your kids are fat, if your kids are fat and they're under the age of like 10, it's your fault. Your kids eat what you eat. Your kids eat what you give them.
Disease?
You cannot live like that.
Would you want your kids to be fat?
No.
What would you do if they are?
Like, exercise is like a big part of my life.
But I thought you can't really like force someone to change though, right?
Well, they are my kids, so I can do whatever I want.
And so when one person's unhealthy habits can...
What if they're 11? I was just making an eyeballed thing. I'm saying, like, if your kid gets fat once it's to the point where they're like alone and eating whatever the fuck they want and just like going out and doing their own thing, that's different. But like if you have like a 5-year-old and they're really fat, like that's the parent's fault.
It's easy to see how influence begins. So if culture can shape behavior, what impact can shaming have on the larger population?
What is like Mexican culture like in regards to being fat?
Bullying to the fat people. The parents doesn't like you to be fat. My son, he's a great singer, you know, but sometimes I say, oh, you have to be thinner to be, you know, you're like an image. So.
And at least according to her, there's a bit of shaming in Mexican culture. But at the same time, Mexico is one of the fatter countries in the world.
Well, what is French culture like when it comes to fat people?
So I grew up fat, not really fat.
Chunky.
Yeah, my brothers called me like the Michelin.
The Michelin Man.
And
The
that
Michelin
stuck.
Man? Nah. Bro, that's fucked up.
The Michelin Man.
And that stuck with me like for a long time. And I think that's one of the reasons why I went to exercise a lot.
Well, so let me dig into that. That seems like fat shaming worked.
I think so.
And in countries like Japan, we've seen even more drastic measures of shaming.
Big bellies in Japan are suddenly bad news.
The Metabo law enacted in 2008 requires employers to measure their employees' waist circumference to prevent metabolic syndromes caused by obesity to identify those at risk. And it aims to encourage healthier lifestyles and participation in health management programs. And even as a developed society, Japan is one of the least fat countries. And so I wanted to
4.3% is that obesity rate?
dive deeper into how different levels of acceptance has impacted different countries around the world.
Where are you from again?
Argentina.
France.
I'm from Iran.
Okay, let me ask you, in Argentina, are there a lot of fat people?
Not much. Our food is not as fast food as in America.
There's not as many obese people in Iran as I see when I go to Vegas. Everything in US, the portion size is just like overloaded. So, but back home, more organic stuff and people eat with family, so it's more enjoyable.
So I think it's a cultural thing. In New York, for example, I was with another plus-size girl. We were walking on the street, and every 5 minutes, wherever you go, they were like, "Hola, señoritas," you know? Europe, where I am from, they like slim girls, but I think in most of the US parts, they like them fat and juicy, thick.
Why do you think a lot of people in America are fat, juicy, and thick?
Because honestly, the food is really shitty, and then the good food, healthy food is so fucking expensive, so people eat unhealthy.
It is the expensive aspect of it. I mean, like, you can eat healthy if you go to a grocery store and buy, like, some nice foods and just never eat out. But even then, it's easier to buy fattier shit. It's much easier. It's ease of use, ease of convenience. They're quicker to make.
As opposed to France, where, of course, there is like fat people, but way less, like in terms of percentage.
Are you trying to say that American food's bad?
American?
It is.
And over again, what we see is an obvious link between what you eat and how fat you are. In that if you want to lose weight, you might want to put that cheeseburger down, you fat f***. But what we see is that the food and health system goes
I also don't think eating unhealthy would necessarily equate to you being fat. Because it's also how much of that unhealthy food you may eat.
The key is to follow the money.
Our food environment doesn't match what humans are meant to eat.
A lot of people don't even know what processed foods are. Every system is built on these food lies because it makes them money. It's the profits in the processing. Cheap processed food made of corn, wheat, soy, like chicken nuggets, ready-to-go meals, like huge profit market. You
bro,
grow
chicken nuggets though, bro. Oh my god. Nah, dude. I know them shits aren't fucking healthy. But oh my god, bro, chicken nuggets? Oh.
meat, fish, eggs, vegetables. There's not a lot of profit margin then. The big processed food companies, they have all the money. Now they can do lobbying, marketing. Most of the industry research out there is funded by these big food companies.
We become so accustomed to the effects that we don't even realize it until we go somewhere else.
The fuck did that even say? Legal ingredients in U.S. food products banned in Europe.
That we don't even realize it until we go somewhere else.
For the past 10 days, I've been in Italy and I've eaten nothing but meat, cheese, pasta, and pizza. And you know what? I felt fantastic.
I ate like absolute shit and didn't work out, and I never felt healthier.
It turns out the EU has way stricter food regulations than the US.
Oh, fuck the US. Get some food restrictions on this bitch because I don't want to move, but now I feel like I need to move because our shit is fucking whack. Like, why can't, like, I don't want to leave, right? I want to stay in the US. I fuck with the US, right? I want to stay here. But, like, goddamn, bro, why can't they just fix that shit? And then why can't we have the food like them? Just bring that bitch over. Bring that bitch over. The food they got over there, why can't we make it like here?
They don't allow as many preservatives, additives, or GMOs. I think we're literally eating poison here.
And with our system incentivizing providers to treat illnesses and diseases rather than prevention, it makes you wonder, is the system set up to keep people sick and treat patients as subscription customers to maximize profit?
The whole medical system is not a wellness system, it's a sick care. All of this is based on money.
Because even with the US spending by far the most on healthcare out of any country, then why are we one of the fattest? And so when the issue is not just about laziness, but a system that is feeding you unhealthy options, then what is
this shit's making me want to leave, bro. Ban lobbying? Dude, I wrote a fucking essay on banning lobbying. But like, god damn, bro, this makes shit make me want to fucking move to Canada. Some shit like that.
And more importantly, deciphering if you're deluding yourself from working towards improvement in the name of acceptance. Because if there's even a tiny whisper inside of you that's telling you should be doing more and that you don't want to be fat, then you're settling.
If I were dead ass gonna move to any other country, guess where I would move. If I had to move right now, I'd make, like, say tomorrow I gotta leave. Where am I going? Australia. Immediately. I'm moving to a country that still speaks English, so I'm not, like, freaking the fuck out. My choices are, like, between basically, like, the UK or, like, any part of the UK, fucking Canada, Australia. Yeah, you could say, like, the Bahamas and those other, like the Bahamas, Jamaica, stuff like that. But, like, realistically, probably Australia. Sentinel Island? Yeah, so I get shot in the head with an arrow. All right, that was a W vid. We gotta move on. Dude, we already been live for 3 hours? Holy shit.